Welcome back to the First Time Homebuyer's Guide. I'm your host, Tom Summers with Coldwell Banker. How do you win in multiple offers? This is a tough question to answer because every situation is going to be different. Each one's going to have a plan, and some of what you do with your plan depends on what I, as your realtor, learn from the listing agent as to what the sellers are looking for, how many offers, how long are they going to wait before they make a decision. All that factors into your strategy. But let's go through some of the basics to help you understand things you can do that you can control. First off, put down more earnest money. So instead of putting down $1,000, put down at least 1% of whatever the sale price is. It's not like you're going to lose the earnest money, and it's a credit to you at closing. So there's a lot of buyers that are putting more down now, and I think the sellers look at them as stronger buyers. Put more money down to start with. If you can afford to do 20% down, by all means do 20% down. Pay all of your own closing costs. Come in with a really strong offer. Make it very flexible on a closing date so that if the seller needs more time, you'll give it to them. Some of the other things that you can do as well is never give up your home inspection. I think that's suicide. You have to do a home inspection like we talked about earlier on in the book, but you can certainly limit your time. So instead of asking for the standard 10-day inspection period, maybe you ask for 7, but before you do that, you start calling the inspectors. You find someone that you like that you can line up earlier on in the process and say, hey, we're going to be putting an offer forward, and in 2 days we're going to have a decision. If we win, could you get out in 3 or 4 days to do your home inspection? That way it gives you more than enough time to get it all completed, and you're not feeling as rushed versus waiting 2 days after you have an accepted purchase agreement to even schedule the inspection. Other things is just being flexible and doing your best to offer a great package, meaning having your loan officer not only write you a really good pre-approval letter, but also call that call the listing agent and say, hey, you know, my folks are ready to go, they're fully approved, and do you have any questions? That follow-up means a lot because, again, then that listing agent will go back to the seller and say, well, golly, you know, we've got 7 offers here, and this is the only one who had their loan officer actually call me just to check in to see if I had any questions. You'd be amazed at how far that can go because even the listing agent wants to work with other people that are going to be cooperative, that can work together as a team to get this thing closed. You can write a personal letter. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I think that it's much more effective if it's a family home where someone's lived there for 30 years because they have an attachment and they want to sell the home to someone who's like them that will love the home as much as they did. That's always a wonderful thing. But also don't be surprised if you write one and it falls on deaf ears because there are some people who've maybe lived in the home for 5 years and they don't really care. They just want the best offer. Because the highest price doesn't always win, because everyone has a different motivating factor. So you don't necessarily know if the seller is more interested in a quick closing than they are the highest price. Having a really good lender with the loan officer, like I mentioned, is important because some of them hold much more weight than, say, something from an online lender. I think when it comes to presenting the offer, if you find out they're in multiples and they have a highest and best that's due, say, 2 days from now at 3 p.m., well, send it in 2 days from now, maybe by noon. But don't send it in right away because at the same time, it gives you more time to see how many more offers they're going to get, a little bit more time to consider your options, and also keep an eye on what's going on in the market. Maybe something else pops up that you fall in love with equally or more so. I just think it gives you a lot more flexibility if you don't rush to judgment. Take your time, think about your situation, and plan accordingly. That, in a nutshell, can make a difference. I can't tell you how many times I've been on the listing side where we've received 10 offers and only 1 loan officer has ever bothered to call me. And half of them aren't even filled out right. I know that probably sounds silly, but you'd be amazed at how many real estate agents don't even read the contract, or at least it seems that they don't. They just rush through things and fill out the blank spots, and half the time they miss some of the blank spots. So having a very thorough, well-prepared offer, which is my responsibility, can also make a difference. Hopefully that helps give you at least some idea of how you can win.